Here, we're queer, we're raising funds for Trans Lifeline, a stunning and wonderful organization. We have some really cool incentives that when you go to our Tiltify link that's pinned in both our Twitch chat and our YouTube chat, you'll see that you can actually donate not only to Trans Lifeline and help fund some amazing work that they're doing, but you can also help shape the game that we're about to play tonight. So for a $10 donation or more, you can make the current scene characters answer a question that you provide to them. For a $20 donation or more, you can make the current scene characters touch. You tell them to touch, and they get to decide whether it's with their hands, their mouth, their fist. It's up to them, but they are touching. For a donation of $30 or more to Trans Lifeline, you can make the current scene characters do a flashback scene. And for a donation of $50 or more, you can make the characters you see on screen at that moment stop what they're doing, shut the fuck up, and kiss. So, $50 very wisely spent making people kiss and also supporting Trans Lifeline. I do want to give a shout out to Bogus Cheesecake, our matching gift sponsor. I want to do another big shout out. They have a backer kit that is happening right now for Hell Whalers, Book of the Leviathan. I'm actually doing a TTRPG flip through for it tomorrow as a way to say thanks. They have been our matching gift sponsor here for almost 2 years. So definitely check that out. I'll put the link into the Twitch and YouTube chat here soon. With that being said, everyone who donates tonight gets entered in to win a free t-shirt from Session Zero Clothing. They make some really cool, nerdy TTRPG and D&D shirts that I know you will love. And now I've done a spiel, and I think I'm going to toss things over to Steve so he can continue spieling.
Moi? Why, I don't mind if I do. Should I do intros, Jess, or should I get right into the game?
Let's do intros.
Yeah, let's do intros. People should know who we are. I'll go first, and I'll hand over to someone else. But hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Steve Wen. Pronouns are currently he, him. You might recognize me as one of the co-hosts on the podcast Asians Represent, where we talk about Asian representation in tabletop RPGs. I'm going to be our facilitator today, though this is a GMless game. More on that later. But let's keep doing introductions. I'm going to hand this over to Ian, if you're good.
Oh, I'm good. What's up, everybody? It's me, Ian, or your boy Big on all social media. I do things. Pronouns he, him, and I'm out here vibing. Adam, now you say words.
Whoa, hi, it's Adam. I'm Adam from Five Gems in a Trench Coat. And my pronouns are he, they, and I'm here and I'm excited to do fun stuff with you guys. And Ivy.
So that just leaves me. So hi, I'm Ivy. My pronouns are she, her. I'm Gamer the Girl on all social media. I'm a professional DM, performer, and the CEO and founder of the Krill Awards, which is the main thing I do. So yeah, that's me. I will pass it back.
Awesome. Jess.
I'm Jess, and my pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I'm here. Woo.
Hell yeah. Let's kind of log into game mode. So tonight we're going to be playing Firebrands, technically named MF0 Firebrands. It is a role-playing game by Vincent and Megui Baker. One of my favorite games. It's a GM-less, prep-less game. So really, really easy just to facilitate. I'm going to be here to talk about rules and things like that and setting it up and making any executive decision we need to do. But in actuality, this is just a collaborative storytelling game. We're going to be going through, playing through scenes, but to kind of all get us into the mood, let's go ahead and read the introduction together. I'm going to kick us off with kind of the preamble, and then I'm going to hand it over to Ivy to read the first paragraph on the intro on page 2. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start off by saying the year is SC0245. Humanity has spread through the Milky Way using transit gate technology to colonize the galaxy. Mobile frames are the hardworking, hard-fighting combat and labor mecca that they've brought with them. You are romantic ace pilots, caught up in an undeclared war for the future of the Bantrol system. I think I'll pass it over to you. Start with the Bantrol system is not at war.
Bantrol system is not at war. Bantrol was never, until recently, a wealthy colony. The planet had resources enough to maintain its own small society, but none worth extorting. there was never any need for the corporate sponsors of its initial colonization to interfere with its administration. In the halls of the Solar Union Commerce, land shares on Banchel traded for nothing. No cost, no gain. You might throw all of my land shares on Banchel into your golf wager as a joke, or give them as a prank gift to a friend.
Awesome. Adam, if you can go next recently.
Recently, though there was a minor development in an obscure biochemical processing technology, and the novel features of Bantrol's ecosystem went from being a scientific curiosity to being an untapped and unknowably deep wellspring of wealth, land shares on Bantrol are no longer an ignored asterisk or on anyone's balance sheet.
Awesome. Ian, this is a big one. Feel free to tap out halfway through and I'll take over, but go ahead.
The handover of administration and power from the descendants of Bantrol's original terrain colonists to the newly interested legal rights holders, the self-proclaimed landowners, have been cheerful, orderly, and mutually profitable. There have been a few isolated spats, of course, but there's been practically no protracted, bitter, bloody war of resistance between the displaced old Bantresh wow, my brain just turned off.
You good.
Help me.
Yeah, I will take
Somebody.
over here.
Yeah.
There have been a few isolated spats, of course, but there's been practically no protracted, bitter, bloody war of resistance between the displaced old Bantress aristocracy and the off-world landowners. When a landowner uses the threat of violence to force a hereditary great family to give up their land, keeping them on they keep them on as guides and entertainers. It's cheerful. When they offer them an exchange of a negligible sum, it's mutually profitable. When a fiery company of Bantresh irregulars responds by raiding their holdings and seizing arms and material against future battles, and local insurrectionists take advantage of the upset by forcibly occupying biochem processing facilities, and the landowners respond with ruthless crackdowns and martial law. These are a few isolated spats. To admit otherwise would be to invite the intervention of the Terrain Transit Authority mediation and peacekeeping forces. Then no one would get rich off of Bantrol but the TTA. The object of the game, Firebrands, is to create messy entanglements. Fall in love with your enemies, ally with your rivals, fight with your friends. Remember, the Bantrol system is not at war. First part of the game, we're going to introduce our characters. So character creation is simple in this game. In this game, what you do is you go around the table and you are going to choose a faction. So tell us your faction. You're going to tell us your name, your pronouns, and then you're going to pick 3 attractive qualities from that faction. Would anyone like to introduce their character first?
I can go.
All right.
Yes. So my character's name is Harris Dune. He is of the faction of the landowners, and his attributes is that he is educated, unlike the person playing them apparently can't read, thoughtful, and good-hearted. And his pronouns are he, him.
Awesome. Ivy, can I have you go next and introduce your character?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am playing Elizabeth von Marshall. She is of the faction the Bantresh, and her pronouns are she, her. Her qualities are passionate, fiery, and strong.
Ooh, I love that. So we have a landowner at Bantresh. Is anyone planning to play Revolutionary? Oh, I love this. Jess, we haven't heard from you in a while. Could you spin us a tale of who you're going to play?
Yeah, absolutely. I am playing a revolutionary named Dash who uses any and all pronouns. They are devoted, resolute, and generous. We're not doing appearances right now, are we?
That will come later. But you said generous, resolute, and what was the last one?
Generous and devoted.
Devoted. Love it. Awesome. Let's keep the revolutionary train going. Adam, what are you going to play?
Hey there, I'm Professor Ann Chicory, and he is a revolutionary, and he is idealistic, inspiring, and kind.
And their pronouns are?
He, they, also.
He, they. Love it. I will go next, and I'm going to be playing Min. just one name, kind of like share. Obviously, a landowner. Pronouns will also be any. And their qualities are going to be, Steve says, stalling for time as it goes to the landowner section of the book. And Steve will pick confident, fashionable, and striking.
Oh.
Perfect. And hey, everyone, character creation is done.
Oh,
Love
thank
that.
God.
I know, right?
I'm stressing.
I know. Okay. So here's where we get into the first part of the game. So everyone gets a character intro, and the way you do character intros is you play the game Solitaire. Solitaire is, of course, a game you play by yourself. Other games, of course, will bring other people with you. For Solitaire, you're going to read out a prompt from the PDF or from the book, and you're going to weave us a story. You're going to paint us a word painting. You're going to bring us into your mindscape. So is anyone feeling particularly passionate right now about introducing their character? Oh, yeah, do it. Adam, let's hear it.
All right, so we see Professor Chicory. I'm currently at work. My day job is being an educator, a high-level educator at that. I teach literature, and as a revolutionary right now, I've been quietly building support among the people of the region. So I think what we see me currently doing, if this works, is I think I'm putting like pamphlets and leaflets in books and returning them. I have my students return the books to me, and then I return them to the library, and then I assign books to my students that I think would benefit from the leaflets and the like, spreading the word, but never making it very clear that I'm the one doing it. I think that some of my colleagues, I think as a high-level professor, not everybody agrees in the space, but also a lot of educators do think that there needs to be a change. So I think some of my colleagues are getting a bit restless to strike. There's something beautiful about idealism and doing the work and getting everyone to see it. But when there's idealism and no change, people start to feel antsy. And so I think that we see me do my leaflet work, put the books away, and then have a brief conversation with another professor who's a little more gung-ho about getting active than I am currently.
Nice. So it sounds like I have a pretty good idea here. Opening up the table, anyone have questions, anything to clarify about what we just witnessed? If not, I move on to the ending the solitaire. Oh, Jess.
I was just gonna ask how long he's been a revolutionary.
Oh yeah, I think that Chicory and Chicory was kind of born into to two parents who have always had the revolutionary spirit, maybe not as educated as he was, and he found education to be the end all be all for him in terms of spreading awareness and the word of a revolutionary and of a rebel. So he's been one far beyond. Before he was a professor, I think he views himself as a revolutionary first and a professor second. But education is the key to the mind. And he's been doing this for most of his life now. And to this capacity, easily 15 years.
Thank you.
Love it. Anyone else?
What's the title of the leaflets or the pamphlets that you're putting in books?
Sorry. The title of the leaflet specifically is Revolution Through Communication.
Ooh.
And the entirety of it is sort of the way in which to communicate revolution without it's recognizing dog whistles, and also the way in which to communicate revolution without showing your hand too early in spaces where you may or may not be safe.
Foreshadowing is a literary device that you may use during RPGs.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Professor, coffee, tea, or something stronger?
Ooh.
Tea, because I don't shut up. I talk all the time, and so I got to keep the whistle wet.
The whistle wet.
The whistle wet. Yeah.
Can you say that one more time for me, please?
Whistle wet.
Okay, let's move on. let's just in the interest of time, I'm going to move us ahead. So ending solitaire. Because of the events you just described, there's something about you, some detail of your mood, your actions, your appearance that everyone else might notice. What is that detail?
I think that I'm currently a little more combative than typical, and not in the sense that I'm like being combative with my words towards people, but I had this as my typical face is one of like calmness and kindness and like approachability, and it's time to learn. And right now, it's a little more resolute and stern, as I've just had a conversation with one of my colleagues, and they feel it's time to strike.
Hold on to that. Use that in your next game that you're part of. So hold on to that. One last question to close us off. Because of these events, there might be something, maybe some news, some gossip that everyone else might have heard. Is there? You get to decide.
Yes, and do I get to decide what it is?
You get to decide it. Then at the beginning of the next game, whether you're playing or not, you get to say it. So you get to say, tell me, yes, there is a detail, and then you just like keep your mouth shut.
Awesome. Yeah, there is a detail.
And if I forget, you just jump in. You're like, actually, there's a detail that we need to remember.
Sounds good.
Awesome. For the next solitaire, who would like to go?
I can go or Ian can go.
Oh, no.
I was gonna say either one. I'm good either way.
Do your thing.
Okay, so, being a Bantrush, I think that Elizabeth has actually been training with their soldiers, and I'm gonna use the prompt. They are more concerned with fashion and style than fighting with effectiveness, because I think Elizabeth puts on a really good show. That she has to be this strong and powerful person all the time in the family that she's in. And so looking around with the other soldiers, they've just finished up a round of training, and instead of seeing the effectiveness of fighting each other or learning the machines that they are using, they are too worried about the paint jobs and the little details and the chrome and things like that. And I think that she is becoming increasingly frustrated. It's a frustration that sits almost incorrectly, and that there is more behind it than just being upset at the soldiers. She's not upset at these soldiers, but is using it as an outlet to express.
Spicy. Are you open to questions now?
I am open to questions.
If I may, you said fashion first. Just talk
Yeah.
fashion to me. What does that mean? What does that look like?
Absolutely. Yeah, so she's currently dressed in this dark Everett forest green coat with gold buttons. It's the same color as her family's house. And so she knows that she looks good however you look, and it's been dry cleaned immaculately. The lines are perfect, the creases are excellent. Her hair is up in this high ponytail. And to everybody else, she looks very corporate and very, very put together. But everyone else is looking less to her liking, as in they are trying to either add details or add accessories. They're so focused on adding these other little things to personalize their outfits than rather to wear their uniforms correctly.
Ooh, I like it. Anyone else? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a quick one. With fashion sort of forward as the out the gate thing we present, sometimes like a facade. Is there anything that isn't represented in your fashion that gives way, maybe a little bit of anxiety in your voice or a tremor in the hand, or same for the men you're training with? Is this a facade, or are you guys as solid as you present?
I'd like to add to that too, because my question was similar. With the outward presentation of fashion, any physical tremors, is your actions and being angry with your team also part of that as well?
I think there are things in her persona that are incorrect. There's scuffs on the shoes she's missed. There's chipping of her nails from where she has anxietily messed with them. It's little things like that where she's picked at them. And then the outward anger at her team is absolutely an extension of being upset and not understanding why this is still the position that I am in.
Love it. Anyone else? If not, I'll move on to the ending solitaire. Because of these events, there might be something about you, some detail about your mood, your action, your appearance that everyone else might notice. What is that detail? I think I kind of have an idea, but let's say it explicitly here.
Yeah, I think that her loyalty is faltering. That there is a fault through it. She's seeing things she doesn't agree with and is starting to lean a little differently.
I love it. And then lastly, because of these events, there might be something, some news, maybe gossip or intelligence that everyone else might have heard of. Is there?
Yeah, there is.
Hold on to that. Think about that, and on the next game, this is going to be announced.
Mhm.
Ian, I think you wanted to go and play some solitaire. I'm happy to open the floor to you.
Yeah, we see Harris on the last leg of a duo's reconnaissance mission. There was intel of revolutionaries within a certain area, and part of his job that he chose, he didn't really have to as a landowner because of the wealth that he holds. He decided to put stake in service. And he's speaking to his partner after the end of what seemed to be a failed mission of tracking said intel of revolutionaries. He's confused. He's a very presenting gentleman, very broad, tall, but it's more so of oh, this guy has thrown hay bales for his entire life, pun notwithstanding of the title. Just real, doesn't push a plate away. And he stands by his mech, kind of twiddling his fingers and looking down, and he looks over at his partner and goes, well, I guess it was just bad intel. Just stares at him, waiting for a response. That's it.
Oh my god. Okay. Open up to questions. I have a question. I want some measurements. You said big boy. I want to know how big.
Yeah.
Sorry,
sure.
this is how I navigate RPGs, so y'all need to get used to this.
Yeah, for sure. We're talking 6'5". Wears a 3XL t-shirt. Size 14 and a half shoe. You know what I'm saying? His hat's like a 7 5/4. He's up there. This is the kid that your high school football coach was like, son, have you ever played? And he's like, no, I really enjoy the cello. That's this is that guy. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Who gave you that bad intel that you received?
This came through a standard debriefing. So we don't know who directly gave that intel. We were just reporting to a reconnaissance meeting. There's only 6 of us on this team, so it's a very small group of us. So it was one of those, we got the call, we left, this is what we have, we moved.
Does bad intel come in often, or is this a rarity?
To this particular group, if this intel comes through, that means it's been proven with physical interaction.
Ooh.
So it is a rarity if Harris's team got it.
Interesting.
In terms of intel and the like, had this not been bad intel, what exactly is the team's protocol going forward with arriving and dealing with revolutionaries in some capacity?
Harris's team is responsible in capturing, reporting, and dispatching. They do not handle anything in regards to punishment. We go get it, we bring it back.
Love it. Anyone else? If not, then I'm going to ask, because of these events, there's something about you, some detail of your mood, your actions, your appearance that everyone else might notice. What is that?
When it comes to the missions presented with Harris, especially specifically when it comes to revolutionaries, the rest of his team is very stoic, and aggressive. These people they're messing with our way of life. And the way that Harris approaches it is with a definitely softer, quieter hand, in the sense of, hey, we have a job to do. There's no back and forth in the banter. There's no jests. There's no getting into the disrespectful comments about, the change in the ways of thinking. He just looks and he shakes his head and he does his duty.
I like it. I like it. So then, because of these events, there might be something, some news, maybe gossip or intelligence that everyone else has heard. Is there?
1,000%.
Hold on to that, and we'll announce it on the next game. Jess, do you want to go next, or do you want me to go next?
I can go next, I suppose.
Okay. Don't sound too excited about it.
So like I said earlier, I am playing Dash, who uses any and all pronouns, and this one was a little bit difficult for me. There were two that really stuck out to me, but I think because of Dash being a courier by day and a smuggler by night, this particular question won out over me. So Dash has been raiding Baintrish plants and warehouses for materials, and there are a dozen crates of munitions in my home right now, visible to anyone who happens to look, which is a little scary. So Dash has not been in the Revolutionary Army for very long. They have been in it for maybe just the past year or so. They started out as a courier. That's always been their job. And they were really good at it. They never looked at what was inside. They just kind of did what they were told. Until one day he was like, I should look inside of this. I mean, I'm getting things that I'm delivering to some pretty high up there people, and one day they finally looked inside, and that kind of changed things for them. It led them down a slippery slope to the revolutionaries, and after hearing what they had to say, they found that they agreed, and so they have been helping smuggle things ever since for the revolutionaries. I didn't say anything about what Dash looks like. Dash is androgynous. They're on the taller side. I don't want to say they're like slim thick, but they're looking good.
A Dorito?
I'm sorry.
A Dorito?
Ooh.
And so they try to fit into whatever situation is going to benefit them. Do I need to be more femme? Got it. Do I need to be more mask? Got it. Do I need to be just a little peasant right now? I can do that. Do I need to step it up? I can do that too. So that's Dash for you.
Awesome. Open to questions. I have one. So you mentioned being a courier. Is this like a recent employment opportunity, or is this something that kind of fell into your lap? Can you give me more details about being a courier in this world?
They have been a courier for, gosh, probably the last decade. And because they had that, 10-year of this, going from being a courier to going to being a smuggler was a very easy transition for when they stepped into being a revolutionary. Everyone already knew them as the person delivering the packages. They already had the rapport with all of the different factions. So it was a very easy transition for Dash.
Anyone
I
else?
have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smuggling's a very stressful thing to do, especially for doing it for so long. What do you do to relax?
What does Dash do to relax? They like a stiff drink with their feet in the water.
Mm.
I'm absorbing. Anyone else have any questions or thoughts? Yeah, let's move on to some other questions then. Jess, because of these events, there's something about you, some detail of your mood or your appearance or your actions that everyone else might notice. What is that?
I think that people would definitely notice from the outside looking in, if you were to look at 3 interactions that Dash is doing, if you had your eyes on them, you would definitely see how they become a chameleon from interaction to interaction, just needing to be exactly who they should be at any given moment.
I like that. I like that. Well, then, because of these events you've described, there might be something, some news, some gossip, or intelligence that everyone else might have heard of. Is there?
I think so.
Yeah. Hold on to that, and we'll talk about these on the next game. And that leaves me with my solitaire game. So my prompt is going to be, as a landowner, you've been tracking revolutionaries and taking them into custody. And one begged you to let her free, which you did. So imagine a retinue of soldiers and men as captain of this particular squadron in full military regalia, which means backless dress, very tight red sequins, long sleeves that go past the elbows, and then I think a crown that's like a halo all around, lounging in a chair with a goblet of a beverage of a refreshing nature, probably the most refreshing nature ever. Ahead of them, they've already taken the revolutionaries into custody, a lineup of them. And as the soldiers look to Min for direction, Min sighs and looks and says, well, we have to send a message, don't we? And with that, Min snaps their fingers, and there's the sound of gunfire. Bodies hit the floor. But Min pauses and says, wait. I've changed my mind. That one right there. Let that one run home. Let that ant scurry back to the hive and tell them what they saw. Yeah. Let them spread the stories and let them know that the landowners truly are the owners of this land. Yes, I think that will do. Let us home. That's it.
I have questions.
I'm surprised you didn't.
What did Min do to get to captain?
Paid. Straight up money.
I have another question.
Hit me.
When it comes to executing these orders, has there ever been a time where Min second guessed themselves?
Ooh, yes, of course there has. Min's a person, not a monster. And that's all I'm going to reveal for that. That's all I'm going to say for that answer.
Damn it!
You can clearly play another game if you want more, but that's all I'm giving you.
Has Min ever been in love?
Of course. If you don't love yourself, how are you going to love anyone else?
Has
Wow,
Min
is
ever been
Min
in love
single?
with someone else?
Define love.
Has Min ever cared about anyone besides themselves?
Of course. If you don't care about others, how can you rise up in the ranks? We do this together, of course. It takes
Does anyone else have
cooperation.
Has Min ever genuinely actually cared for another being?
Yes. But she's not going to talk about that with just anyone.
Is Min scared? Is Min afraid?
Yeah.
Min would answer no.
Yeah.
What's Min's greatest loss?
Oh, second place on the runway.
Okay, all right. I'm fucking
Who
locked
was
in.
first? Who was first on the runway?
Who was first?
Yeah.
I'm going to pass that question over to a fellow landowner. So I think Harris, are you keyed into social media among other landowners?
I am. I have to be.
You have to be. Who spurned Min on that runway?
Dario O'Brien.
Dario.
Yeah, they just happen to have it that year. The sparkle, the pizzazz, the sway, the walk, their talent, which was extremely surprising because we're landowners. We don't need talent.
And
Our
to be
money's our
honest,
talent.
To be honest, it was rigged. It was rigged from the start. Every one
Had
of those
to have
judges
been.
was in the Pacific Ocean on a giant oil rig called Kirsten Stunts because it was rigged on. This was not okay.
I mean, Captain Min, let's be 100% clear. It couldn't have been anything other than rigged. Look at you.
Of course.
Such a
look,
visage.
look at this. Look at this.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm glad you understand. All right. Any other questions?
100%.
I've got one. Who would Min say is their best friend?
Men would say best friends are a weakness.
Okay.
Okay, Steve, I have questions for you. Yeah, bring it on. Because of these events, there's something about you, some detail, your mood, your actions, your appearance that everyone else might notice. Describe what that detail is. Murder takes it out of you. It's exhausting. But for Min, it twinges. You can see it in the eye. Not exhaustion, but grief, sadness, and that teetering upon whether or not that's going to spurn to malice or to compassion. And in Min's eyes, you see conflict. Oh, that's a pretty good answer, Steve. No problem. Because of these events, there might be. Sorry, this is part of the fun being a facilitator. Because of these events, there might be something news, gossip, or intelligence that everyone else has heard of. Decide what there is, if there is. Yes, and I'm going to hold it to myself. I'm going to hold on to that for the next game.
Mhm.
Awesome. Pausing here before we do our next game. Checking in. How's everyone feeling? Is everyone thumbs up? Is there a thumb sideways? I see 2 thumbs up. Yeah. Cool. Any questions? Anything to comment on before we move into our first game?
Nah, I gotta step it up now. I gotta step it up now. that men description, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we can bring it up. All right, let's do this.
This is a common thing in Firebrands where someone just like steps it up and steps up. It's like the ante just keeps going up. Welcome to Firebrands, y'all. So, the way the game works is anyone can take control. Anyone can pick a game from the list of games that there are. We'll read through the description, and we'll start playing that game. While the game is played, other players can interact by asking questions. And if it makes sense and the scene says so, it's possible for you to engage with it. While the players are not actively engaged, I encourage you to go on mute and gossip in chat because that's fun for everyone. But would anyone like to pick a game?
Oh, I had a question.
Of course.
Is so like a conversation over food? Like these are the games, right? Like the prompts.
You got it.
Okay. Does anyone want to go before me, or is it okay if I pick a conversation over
All
food?
you, Adam.
Do
All
it.
you.
Yeah, Adam.
Go,
Let's hear it.
go.
Anything you want, Professor.
Thank you. Actually, I was gonna see if I could have our 2 landowners have a conversation over food with me.
Oh, excellent. So,
I'm a professor. I'm an educator.
okay. So is it the 2 landowners plus the professor, or is the professor not part of the scene yet?
2 landowners plus the professor. I think I've sought you out to have a meal, to have lunch. I'm a pillar of the community. I'm an educator. I
Clearly.
work. Yeah.
So, setup. Ask the chosen partners, in this case, how we came to be eating together. Then we're going to say other players can join freely if it makes sense for the characters to be present at the meal. And there's some other questions. So, Adam, I'm going to start with you because you've initiated this game. How did we come to this meal?
Yeah, I think I extended an invitation, just a written invitation to both of you. I sent the invitations on the same paper that I make the leaflets on.
Interesting.
But it's different print, it's different everything, but it's the same paper. I don't
Okay.
know how aware of that you guys are.
We'll see. So other players, you can join the meal freely. Adam, Professor,
Mhm.
set us a scene. You started this meal. Where are we eating? Where are we going? Is your house a restaurant?
No, we're at a restaurant. We're like a simple diner. Burgers, fries, things like that. It's casual food. Again, I'm a professor. It might be higher education, but not everyone here is particularly rich, and sometimes it's nice to just go enjoy a simple meal in between cramming or in between classes.
Okay. For other players, during the meal, anyone can ask anyone for details about the setting, occasion, or other circumstances. We're going to take turns. For this particular game, the person with the lowest social standing takes the first turn. If this isn't clear, you have a player choose, but I think it's pretty clear who has the lowest social standing here. And then you can ask a question, engage in improvised conversation, pass, saying instead something about the food, or you can leave the conversation. And then there's an ending thing there as well. So before we start, what do we all notice about each other, and what have you heard? You can pass on this question if you want, but if that question prompts you to answer, we'd love to hear it. Okay. I think this particular diner, Min would never go to. This is actually very painful to go to. This is like physical and emotional pain to come here. But those leaflets, something about that, maybe it was like an intelligence briefing or something, but I think this was important. And the higher-ups have asked Min to make an exception. Min has showed up in casual clothes. So you're thinking a sleeveless suit jacket with a double tie that braids in the front, a gold belt with a secondary belt, and that belt has a mechanism that opens up and like a little tiny like puppet comes out, and that puppet does a little dance on the hour every hour.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Professor Chicory is in his day-to-day work attire, some slacks, a tucked-in long sleeve sort of coat, or like padded shouldered sweater with a collar popping out. The color notably very colorful, floral, unlike a typical kind of bland professor. It's just that kind of pop of difference, that pop of standing out. Everything else about him is very bland. Simple shoes. The underside, or his chest and like torso segments of his clothing puff out just a bit. If there's like something underneath, or maybe it's just the way they're sitting, their clothes are frumpy. They have a handful of books stacked next to them as they've kind of, beckon you to sit. You look uncomfortable, and I think you can see that I can tell you don't want to be here, and perhaps that was purposeful. And my shoes are tied with blue shoelaces. And yeah,
How about Dune? How's Dune doing?
Dune shows up, and when he walks in, you both hear someone at the counter go, "Oh, Mr. Harris," and he puts his hand up, and he just kind of looks around. And Harris has been here, but he gets takeout because he doesn't want to stay here too long. They have a really good Reuben. When you see him, he is wearing gray trouser pants that lead into a hard toe boot, and a gray Henley-esque silk shirt, and a coat that matches the tone of his belt. It's this darker heather gray, but as he moves, you can see just wisps of metallic purple, the color of his stage and his last name, Doomsake. And he takes his glasses off, and he takes his gloves off, and he whisks his hair back, and he goes, I'm here on something else. I apologize. And he whisks over. And you can see there is a gold chain that goes from the front of his belt buckle and goes, what you would think would be to his pocket, but it connects a little bit higher, almost on his side. And you see it revolving every so often. And as he goes to sit down, he removes his coat, and you can see this revolving chain is going to a sidearm of his, another position, notice, of his station, but it is also very functional, as if you get a closer look, you can see wear and tear on it. He scoots over to the side of the professor, because we're not going to sit next to the captain, of course. Evening, afternoon, morning, what time is it?
pleasure. It's afternoon. Did you order food? You look famished. I'm sure you could use something. You could put it on my tab.
I am hungry, but I have an engagement later. I should save my appetite
Oh, you could always get something small,
I could. The pie's good here.
isn't it?
All right.
Is it
Quite. You should order a slice.
of pie? Is that like
Yes.
like a meat dish?
They do have a meat pie here. Typically, I prefer one of their fruit-filled. The creams unsettle my stomach on their cream pies, so I usually steer clear of that. And you look like someone who might get a bit of an unsettled stomach, and so I'd advise you steer clear of those also. Would you like me to order for you? You look like you haven't been here. Well, you mentioned the pie, so I'm assuming you have at least visited once or twice. It's popular with the students.
Professor. Can I call you Professor?
Oh, of course. You could also call me Chicory if you'd like.
Oh, Chicory. Can I call you Chick? So, Chick.
I love Chick.
So, I think this conversation should be pointed. We are very busy people, of course.
Yes.
Isn't that right, Dune?
Yes, Captain.
I'm like waving someone over to order pie, kind of like half listening to you, giving you half attention. I'm like, oh, our friend here would like, what kind of pie are you thinking about?
Interjection here, Jess.
Can I jump in and suggest a likely topic?
Of course you may.
Amazing. I am looking at the first likely topic, an airdropped crate of landowner munitions that have gone missing.
I love that. Honestly, I thought for a second there the waitstaff was going to be Dash. I thought they were going to do
That would have been so cool.
Wow, because they're a courier, they have to be waitstaff too. Wow, man. Wow.
Because you're a
ultimate
spy.
Thanks.
Anyways, I like that.
Dash
I
is
think
actually in
that's
the kitchen.
Ms. Dash. I think, Adam, would you like to have Professor bring this up, or what are you feeling?
Yeah, I think I will.
Okay.
So you're doing your we're busy people spiel, and I'm waving someone over, half listening to you, not paying you the respect you want. I'm sorry, what kind of pie did you say you wanted? I wanted to make sure that we got that before we start talking about stuff. It's come to my attention. Well, I've heard some rumblings that some landowner munitions have gone missing.
That's impossible.
Oh, is it?
Of course.
Right. You would know what is and isn't impossible when it comes to landowners. That makes sense. Someone of your stature, you've surely earned the position. It's typically quite difficult to rise the ranks so quickly. I just worry about what munitions of that capacity could be used for.
And what matters of education does this to you?
Well, so this is more a student concern thing. Students find themselves wrapped up in all kinds of intricate things, and I don't want to run the risk of any of my dear beloved students, especially the younger ones. I teach a range of courses, to find themselves helping somebody and, well, meet the, for lack of a better phrase, barrel end of one of you two or the likes of you two.
As long as they don't interact with any revolutionist ideals or any practices that they shouldn't find themselves in a situation. Sounds like baseless rumors. Professor.
Right. But isn't that a bit of a fallacy there, right? As long as they don't. Who's to say they do or don't? You? What if it was stashed in their back house and they didn't know, and you've decided to make a snap decision? I worry about the communication here. I feared that you two lack the appropriate means of communication to ensure that, well, students and civilians and the like maintain, well, safety.
You know,
Professor, you feel Harris shift in his seat, and as a man of military, his hands are always by his side, but you feel a squeeze on your knee.
like a sexy squeeze? I assume not.
It's like this.
Yeah. I quickly lean in for a get out.
Right? They're not here, Professor. Jesus.
Yeah. We're the
Professor, I could
revolution.
never.
The three of us are the revolution, guys.
Check. You seem a very astute person. Okay. Hypothetically, if munitions did go missing, Min looks over to Dune and like narrows and then looks back to Professor. Hypothetically. And these were to fall into the hands of youngsters who maybe don't fully understand the big picture. What would your suggestion be? I think you've laid out a clear weakness of the campaign us of the Solar Union lack as off-worlders. We aren't, what's that turn of phrase? Dirt of the salt? We aren't that.
Well, it's less of a suggestion on my end, and why I just wanted to talk to you about. I suppose I worry, maybe not just about my students, but about, well, the likes of you sometimes. And really quickly, would I be able to mention the rumor that has been heard earlier?
I completely forgot to ask for those rumors.
Okay.
I would
can
love
I-
to hear it now.
And I want to do it now because I think it's pointed here. So the rumor is that a handful of the educators are intending to mobilize rather soon.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I worry more about, well, I suppose you, there's just only so many of you. And I sometimes think about things like with a step and then a second step, and then suddenly it's stomps and marches. And, well, small fish, when there's a lot of them, it's hard for anyone to do anything. And for every square feet, the people could fill up the space tenfold. And I worry that you've forgotten that.
Maybe not forgotten, but maybe misunderstood how close we are to midnight. So, we're at an impasse as far as I can tell. Of course, you are interested in furthering education and doing what's right for the people, and I am too, of course, to an extent. Can't I scratch your back and maybe you scratch mine?
Certainly. I just fail to see what a professor of, well, my stature could do for someone like you.
You know, this is a enriching conversation. And you know, I'm intrigued. My interest is perked. Min puts a leg up Professor's shin. So I think further conversations would do everyone good, and sooner the better. Of course, we want to make sure that the transition of power is without conflict as much as possible. Could you maybe broker a conversation? Dune, I would have you with me. You seem to, for some inexplicable reason, understand what they dine upon, and etc. But Professor, can you do that for me? Broker a conversation with others.
I do believe it would be in, well, everyone's best interest to be more communicative and have a conversation. So I suppose if that were something in my wheelhouse, I would be willing to do it. I do have a class to get to, so I suppose I'll be seeing the two of you. I asked them to put your pie to go, and I'm going to begin getting up.
I think Min will stop you. Just like a motion, like pause. As a matter of business, I don't like leaving things to chance. let's schedule a time. Are you free tonight?
Of course.
Sorry. The Aaron's Diners. It's very rough. And then, Captain, you recall that you're busy this evening.
Oh. Yes, of course. That's. Look, Professor, can I drop you my information? Let's stay in contact. Send me a message. Oh?
I would love that.
Okay. Here's my personal number. Feel free to contact me anytime.
Of course, I think as I take your personal number, I do the clasp, the hand clasp, and linger for a moment. I've appreciated your time. And when I get up, I gather my books, and I do leave. I think I place one in my seat as I'm kind of putting things on and getting myself together. And then that one that I place in the seat, I leave there and slide it a little closer to the center of where I was sitting, and then I disembark.
Harris?
Did you really forget about our meeting later this evening?
I mean, what could it take? An hour? 2 hours?
That's fine. Business before everything else, Captain.
Do you have something to say to me?
I do, but I don't know how.
Let's depart. Maybe I can loosen your tongue. I'm good with the scene here. Cool. I need to know what that book is. I need to know what that book is. What is that book? What's the title of it?
It's just Communication for Dummies.
That's perfect. That's so
That's
good.
actually perfect. That's actually why are you so good at RPGs? Cool.
Because that's Adam from 5GMs in a trench coat. Like
Okay. So I think that's conversation over food. Opening it up to the table. Anyone had any lingering questions or clarification needed?
What meeting did y'all have tonight?
Strategy.
Yeah.
What
You
kind
gotta
of
figure out how to-
strategy?
Where to put the pieces?
What kind of pieces?
Strictly
Yes.
military ones.
yeah. No,
Uh-huh.
no, I'm just on that one.
Uh-huh. Like military bodies?
There are
It's a
certain,
chess game. Okay.
Uh-huh.
there are certain maneuvers that need to be
chess going
practiced
on.
over and over again.
Okay.
So I'm
No
pausing
further
more.
questions, Your Honor.
I'm pausing more frequently here because we're at the beginning of the game. But this is Firebrands, y'all, because I know a lot of you haven't played it. This is how the game works. I'm gonna ask on Jess or Ivy to pick on the next game because you haven't had a chance to get into it. Feel free to do whatever you want. As I speak here, any feedback, any questions, anything you're like, and most importantly, any more lines or veils that after we've played a little bit, you're like, actually, let's just make sure we avoid this. I'm personally okay.
I'm all good.
Fantastic,
hear.
fantastic.
And I'm doubly good to have Ivy pick the next game.
Ivy, feel free to pick next game. If you're not, I'm happy to pick one.
I think it would be interesting if Dash and Elizabeth were involved in a chase.
Yes.
Dash being a courier and Elizabeth being someone who may be very interested in what they're carrying. I think that would be a very interesting scene to set.
I love this. So, reading through a little bit here to prompt you, only you and your chosen partner play. So, for all of us, keep it all in the group chat. Which one of you, there's a question to you, which one of you is the hunter and which one is the quarry?
I think I am. I think
You are the
that Dash
hunter,
is on the
Dash
run.
is the quarry. So then you have to ask Jess how this chase came about.
So I think maybe this chase came about because someone that you're friends with or someone that you fashionista with hired me to do a little bit more than currying, and you found that maybe a little bit intriguing, and so I think maybe you have been tailing me. Now you have been tailing me during the daytime though, and that's when things are boring. And I think that I've caught on, and I think that we're playing this cat and mouse game where I'm leaving little breadcrumbs for you to find me. And so I think that that's how we've gotten to this point, and I think in this moment we're probably in a chase right now.
Yeah. So, just giving you a heads up, the quarry actually conducts the chase. So make sure you get to page 14 and 15 to see the challenges, and you'll be actually conducting the challenges. They're all fucking amazing. So if you pick them at random, it's still great. But I'm going to ask Ivy, what do you notice about each other, and what have you heard, if anything? So anything that Dash might notice about Elizabeth, or vice versa?
I think you would notice that they have shed a lot of their standard military-esque gear, that they are just wearing like cargo pants and a white beater shirt and combat boots. Like they almost are masquerading as somebody just normally out in the world. That something that would strike Dash in this game of cat and mouse is that you don't get the feeling that this is sanctioned behavior, that this is alone.
Would Elizabeth notice anything about Dash?
And now, is this the secret or the gossip that we've been holding on to, or is that different?
Nope, love it. Bad facilitator. If there's any gossip here that you want to share, you should share it now.
Okay, I think that the gossip is that when Dash not necessarily finds you attractive, but is attracted to just you in general, they're less of a chameleon and a little bit more stumbly over their words. And so it's a little bit easier to see if they actually like you or if they're just putting up a front.
I think one of the rumors that is surrounding Elizabeth has been that they were actually seen with one of those pamphlets in one of their pockets previously.
I like. Okay. So, we're gonna start off with the chase here. Quarry Dash, where are you going? You're being chased. Where are you going?
I'm looking at number 3. I pressed through a thorny briar. Follow me if you want, but throw. On tails you're tangled and torn and must extract yourself, and I gain a coin.
So I'm gonna pause you there. Hold on to that. You're being chased. You're going somewhere. So where's your point of safety and or your next objective?
I am running towards the forest, and I'm running here specifically because I want to see if Elizabeth is going to be able to keep up. I want to know if she's going to get caught and if she's going to need rescued throughout this, because I'd love for this to turn around. She thinks that she's the cat and I'm the mouse right now, but I'd like to see this flipped on its head.
Love it. Love it. That is definitely within the written rules. Second question before we get into the challenges. Mobile frames. Decide whether your partner or you are in mobile frames, and then we conduct the chase accordingly. So is this on foot or is this in frames?
I think this is on foot, because
I
I
agree.
don't think that there would be a way for me to flip this and rescue her if we're not on foot.
Elizabeth
Totally.
is convinced that they are the cat in the situation, and it is very apparent they are doing this unsanctioned alone, and so they couldn't risk being seen in their mobile.
Love it. Okay, Jess, back over to you. You've picked a challenge. Keep in mind, there's going to be 4 challenges. The third will be an admission. So go ahead with the challenge. Your third one, I will remind you, will be an admission instead. But that said, go ahead and say that. Other players, keep it in group chat.
So I said the first challenge. I don't necessarily so we need to have a coin to flip.
Yes. Don't worry about that. I will handle that. We can. I'm sure we have the technology for this. But we will flip a coin.
Oh.
Ivy and I are like, nope, we're cavemen.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't have any change.
Adam's got us. Adam's got us. Okay. So there's our coin. Official coin flipper. I dubbed V. Jess, please read aloud the challenge that you picked again.
Yes, so I press through a thorny briar. Follow me if you want, but throw. On tails, you're tangled and torn and must extract yourself, and I gain a coin. So to set this just a little bit further, I've taken us through the city on just kind of a regular looking route. I've gone in, I've dropped off some letters, but I have something that looks a little bit more. I've concocted this. I've placed this in my outer pocket. I'm trying to get caught and to catch your attention at this point. And so while we make our way through the city, we're getting towards the outskirts. And I think that on the outskirts of town, towards the forest, there is a more dilapidated house that not a lot of people know about, but someone allegedly meets there from time to time. I think that's a rumor that people have heard. And so I think maybe in Elizabeth's mind, she's like, gotta follow. So that's
okay,
the
with
scene.
that. No, I love that. So with that, we throw Ivy, call it in the air, heads or tails.
Okay, I'm gonna say heads.
This will be heads. This will.
We trust in your facilitation of coin flipping.
What is it?
What is it? Call it out.
That's heads.
Sorry, that's tails.
It's tails.
Tails.
So, you get to tell us how you react to being the briars, and then Jess, you can manually, literally on your hands, count coins. We'll compare coins at the end. So you get 1 coin, and then Ivy, tell us what happens as you fail to go through these briars.
Elizabeth, knowing that she is here alone and is on her own, but she's not going to tell anyone that. Like, she's definitely got a team behind her. She knows that. Is traversing through this brush and undergrowth and briar and notices that it's starting to become thicker, and she recognizes that she left all of her gear back in the barracks because she did not expect to be on this chase at all. So her knife, her machete, all of the tools and the gear that she's supposed to be having is gone. Her pockets are empty except for a few random materials, a pen, this pamphlet that she has explicitly put here, a little notebook, as she gets distracted and becomes a problem in her own mind as she trips, fumbles, and lands in the undergrowth, arms and limbs tangled and scratched and bleeding. And it's just a heavy sigh as she just slowly tries to pull herself from it.
Wow. That was pretty bad.
Would you have called out or yelped or any?
There was probably just a swear that she realizes she's not supposed to be out here in the first place, and covers her mouth, pulling more of the vines and the undergrowth around her, just making it a little bit worse.
Okay. So you do pull yourself free as the chase continues. Quarry, pick another challenge.
I leap out over nothing and make a hard, precarious landing. Follow me if you dare, but throw. On heads, you gain 1 coin. On tails, though, you barely catch yourself. You're clinging on with all your strength, and the chase ends now with you at my mercy.
Ooh.
Yeah, right? Firebrands. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So I think what I do when I hear you curse out, I slow down, and I think I like trip. I like drag my foot through the mud a little bit to look like I've fallen. And I think that maybe after a good 5 to 10 seconds, you hear me go, fuck. And then I circle around and like look back to see you. I'm not that far ahead of you. You've been tailing me pretty well. And as I see you get up, I start running on again. Just again, making sure that I'm not too far ahead of you, but scoping out a place where I can be like, this is where I've got her.
Okay, we throw. Again, Ivy, call it in the air. Flipper facilitator.
I'm gonna say tails this time.
Call it out.
It's heads.
Oh my god.
Heads.
But that's so perfect. Yes, keep
That's
going.
Isn't
so,
it?
It's perfect. It's so good.
So you barely catch yourself. You're clinging on with all your strength, and the chase actually ends now with you at the mercy.
So again, how does this fall happen?
It's that little bit of where I saw where you supposedly fell and tripped. Take that into consideration. Do not fall over that. Kind of jump over it, that little area. In doing so, you have laid the perfect trap where I misstep after jumping over that into what you actually had laid for me as I trip, fall, tumble, and find myself laying in a bush, just flat on my back, the air knocked from my lungs, breathing, just and just laying there trying to catch my breath, thinking that you have run further away than that.
I think maybe just 30 seconds go by. You've probably actually caught your breath right now. It probably doesn't hurt to breathe anymore. And I walk up very, very quietly to you, and I extend a hand down, just looking directly over you. And I say, Elizabeth Von Marshall, what are you doing out here?
Full name, y'all.
She reaches up, clasps a hand like on your forearm. Dash, it's lovely to see you.
Well,
As I
you've
pull myself
seen
up.
me all day, haven't you? All day
I've
yesterday
seen
too.
your back, but it's nice to see the front of you and your lovely face every now and again.
I do hear that the backside is quite nice. Why have
Look,
you?
it wasn't a complaint.
Why have you been playing this little cat and mouse game? I think that you think that you've been chasing me, right?
That's what's been happening.
Do you think you tripped twice in a row just because? Elizabeth, come on.
Okay. All right. What do you got there? As I gesture to like this weird package that you yourself have created.
Oh, you mean this one? And I pull it out and it says "Gotcha" on the inside. That's all it says.
All right. You know what? You get one. This one was on me. You get one. Please don't tell anyone about this. This was my bad. I think Elizabeth is slowly becoming more and more red, and just as it gradually just. Okay.
Elizabeth, why would I tell anyone that you have been seen holding on to Professor Chicory's revolutionary pamphlets?
For evidence.
For evidence to whom?
The rest of
The
The-
rest of.
the rest of the soldiers, and I want them to know what we're looking for when it comes to.
And what are we looking
Revolutionaries.
for exactly?
I just look you up and down.
Oh, we're looking for me? Are we looking for wildlife in the form of a feline?
Yes,
And this
fine.
cat.
I was like, wait.
Sorry.
I assume maybe you, maybe people like you're. Yeah, yeah.
And so you wish to turn us in, or you wish to join us?
Not turn you in exactly. More, there's a curiosity about what you all are doing.
Elizabeth, are you trustworthy?
Yes, I think so.
And if I were to take you to a revolutionary meeting, I could trust that you're going to keep that to yourself?
Just call me Liz, and I have no affiliation.
Would you prefer I call you Liz?
You can call me whatever you want.
That's right. And Dash is going to lead Liz to that dilapidated house. I do think that from time to time there are revolutionary members that meet there, and Dash is going to say, upon arrival, there's no turning back once you walk through these doors. Either you're in it, or you're not in this any longer.
I mean, I've been looking at your back all day. What's a little longer?
I mean, this plane of existence, Liz.
Oh,
This is life or
that's
death
also fair.
for
I
many
mean-
of us.
Yeah, count me in.
Okay.
I think that is where that scene is probably going to end. Whew. Jess, can we go for a break?
Yeah.
Like, can we break?
Yeah, buddy.
All right, my friends. I think that maybe Ian and Steve are gonna go splash some water on their faces. We're gonna do a shrimp trek. Maybe get some water, eat some food. We're gonna take care of ourselves, and you should take care of yourself as well. I'm gonna move this hot dog off of my desk, who just decided that she's also in this scene. But while we're on break for the next 5 minutes or so, be sure to check out our Tiltify link, where again, every donation that we receive today goes straight towards Trans Lifeline, and you can help shape the game that we play. If y'all would have donated $50, you could have made Dash and Elizabeth kiss. Maybe next time. Anyways,
Or more.
or more. We'll be right back.
Whatever.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us this evening as we play Firebrands, a messy and delightful little TTRPG, and raise funds for Trans Lifeline. Trans Lifeline is an amazing organization who connects trans people to the community support and resources that they need to survive and thrive. Honestly, it is a trans organization that is for the community, by the community, and I love it so much. Whether you're in our Twitch chat or our YouTube chat, you'll see that there is a Tiltify link that goes straight to a donation site where you can donate. You are not only giving money to Trans Lifeline, which is an awesome choice in itself, but you can also affect the game that we're playing. So for a donation of $10 or more, you can make the current scene characters answer a question of your choice. For a donation of $20 or more, you can make the characters stop what they're doing and touch. Maybe it's a kiss on the mouth, maybe it's a kiss on the cheek, maybe it's a fistful of a kiss. I don't know. They get to decide. For a donation of $30 or more, you can make the current scene characters do a flashback scene, and for a donation of $50 or more, you can just make those characters shut the fuck up and get to kissing. That sounds great, right? I want to give a quick shout out to Bogus Cheesecake, our matching gift sponsor of the month and honestly year. They're amazing. I love them so much. They have a new TTRPG supplement for Hell Whalers out. It's called The Book of Leviathan. It is absolutely fantastic. It's all about the horrors in Hell's Ocean. It's currently on BackerKit funding right now, so be sure to check them out. And finally, everyone who donates tonight gets entered into a drawing to win a free t-shirt from Session Zero. They make some really fun D&D and TTRPG related shirts. I have a Welcome to the Feywild shirt from them, a cute little owlbear cub shirt, and a nice tie-dye shirt. So check them out if you want. With that being said, do we want like a super quick recap of what has already happened, or do we just want to jump straight into the next game?
I will give us a really quick kind of executive summary here. This is the kind of thing you would see in your email at 7 a.m. on a Monday. There is no war in Bantrish. There is no war. However, some important notes to make. There is a professor who seems to be handing out some kind of communique that has been generating tension. Rumors are abound, and there are no more details on that. There are in the tabloids rumors about a meeting, a luncheon between some high up landowners and some other well-to-dos among the community, but no other details from that. And then there are some blurry pictures in the tabloids of two people, sweaty, beaten, clothes torn asunder, looming over each other. Faces cannot be made out, but two figures clearly at the climax of their chase. And yeah, that's a recap. Anyone want to add anything? Great.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so let's pick our next game. I would like to go next if everyone's cool with that. So I'm feeling antsy. I'm feeling like we need a free for all. Free for all is everyone plays, everyone's characters meet. We're gonna be in our mobile frames and we're gonna be in our mech suits, and we're gonna do battle. My chosen partner for this is Harris. So Dune, we are supposed to meet tonight for strategy. Is that right?
That is correct.
Pick a place.
My place.
Cool. We're not meeting there. So instead, your captain has decided that we're going
I have an arena. No, okay.
You have an arena?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because my place is near the base, so you choose.
So I was going to choose. Let's actually talk about this. I was going to choose a point of interest. So we know there are revolutionaries and Bantrash who are gathering. So for our strategic meeting in mech suits, which is apparently doubling as a bit of sparring, what if we chose a point of interest where maybe there's some collateral damage? Who knows?
The college.
Oh, maybe. But I mean, we were going to invest in that anyway, so we're just helping with the demolition.
Honestly, it would save a lot of money when it comes to the construction.
Excellent. We are having our duel. At the university.
Yeah.
Cool. What do we notice about each other? So because Min and Harris are our first two characters in the scene, I'm gonna hand it over to Ian to describe your mobile frame and anything else you want to describe.
Yeah, I think when Harris shows up to the university with the meeting spot, he's outside of his mech. And when you look over at him, he's changing his shirt. He takes off this formal shirt that he has before, and you can kind of see that he's stretching out his shoulders, and he's kind of like hyping himself up a little bit. And he has another shirt in his hand, and he tosses it, and he puts his black gloves on. He puts a set of goggles on, and he stands by his mech shirtless, waiting
Excellent.
for men to show up. His mech it's a brawler. It's got the royal purple of, again, his family namesake in the station, and then similar to his clothing, especially his coat, instead of that purple that reflects through, it's this gold filigree that reflects through over the arms, kind of mimicking like a full sleeve tattoo goes across the chest and down the other arm. On the waist of the mech, in large gold letters, it just says Dune right over it.
Yeah.
And that mech has mitts for hands. Super, super powerful. And on the back, there is a large mechanical bat that has whirring spikes when activated. And he waits.
Love it. Min arrives in a limousine outside the campus, but well within your line of sight. Min exits the limousine, and they are in their plug suit attire, what they pilot in. Imagine straps, just like leather straps, just like one collar, chest, nips, waist, other waist, down the side, down the legs, down the arms. It's just like bands and bands. They walk out proudly with a briefcase. So
Come to concede.
over comms, of course not. This is training, isn't it? I hope you're ready. I won't be holding back.
Oh, I hope not. I've got some new things I'd like to try.
So with that, Min opens up the briefcase, puts in two temple controllers onto their temples, and their nuclear reactor inside that suit begins gathering energy and material around the campus. Dirt and rocks and air and wood and building materials forming into some kind of coagulating sphere. This is Min's mech. A perversion of the environment around them. And inside, at the very core, in the eye of the storm, is Min. Dressed nude, but for like kids' TV, like Adult Swim nude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like no nips, no genitals, but clearly naked.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you get me.
Yeah.
All right. So,
yeah.
during the free-for-all, anyone can ask any details about the location, location, and circumstances. Go around the table. Everyone gets 2 turns. I get to go first. On your turn, choose an enemy player's character and give them a challenge. They answer it freely. So the way combat works in Firebrands. You will quickly understand. We vibe. That said, remember, everyone is involved here. So I set up the scenario. All your mechs are going to arrive at some point. I go first. I pick 2. I think I'm going to choose the first one. I hold back. Min holds back, lighting up sensors and comms. Sorry, I don't like that one because I don't have any allies right now. I'm just going to open fire. Min opens fire, pounding you with everything that they have. Can your frame take it? And how? So as material is like floating up, your mech is bombarded both with debris, and I think you see on your sensors and things like that, like radiation just emanating in like lasers, invisible to the human eye, but your mech's core is heating up. And if you allow it, that can get critical.
Perfect. Harris kind of goes to himself within the side of his mech, and the way that he controls his mech is that he has extensions into it, and so if the camera was inside his mech, you see him put his arms up, but then on the outside you see the mech do the same and just pulls over a cloak shield that just vibrates with energy as it's pelted with the radiation.
Harris, new frame, new adjustments. What's happening here?
Well, you have all that money laying around. You might as well do something fun with it.
Fun we shall have. Next question, my last one for this round. I rained a barrage of rockets down of you out of nowhere. In fact, the nowhere itself are orbital drones flying above in sub-atmosphere. Rockets rain down upon you. And by you, of course I mean around you. Can you escape them? How?
Absolutely. The camera inside shows him pushing the shield back, and you can see the mech doing it. And when his hands come back around, that bat with the wearing spikes starts to go up, and it's and he starts charging forward. He doesn't hit all of the rockets, just the ones in his face, and he's having batting practice. And he's knocking them to the other side of the college. So the areas that the rockets didn't hit, he's making sure that they hit the other side.
And I think the camera zooms back into Min's cockpit. And Min's watching the orbital overlay of the university and noticing that the target points are still stable. At least most of them are. And Min's eyes narrow, and we go back out into the overall battlefield. Does anyone make an introduction, or should we go over to Harris's? Oh, the professor.
As I said, I had a class tonight, but it wasn't a typical class that people signed up for. It's one that people who read pamphlets show up for. And the campus starts shaking. And as I've said, my students, even gods, will be trampled underfoot of the millions. And we are the millions. And my sweater starts to burn away. As you see now, the frump that was under it was sort of the thick metal lining of like the interior, my hookup to my mech suit, as my suit begins to shoot into the building and build itself around me. And I'm going to just up and out to get a better gauge of the nonsense you two are raining down upon my campus.
Excellent. Did you want to take any combat actions here, or should we hand it over to someone else's introduction, or back over to Harris?
I think I'm going to do, in terms of combat actions, sorry, let me see if I can find it. Would there be a possibility of me just making like protection rolls to ensure that the people in the space are getting okay, here we are in free fall.
Yeah, narratively, yes, but it sounds like it's not an actual turn. You haven't done like a committed violence here. So let's go on to someone else.
Ivy, do you think that Liz and Dash show up at the same time?
I think that they do not, which I'll come back to.
I have a question. This meeting of revolutionaries, did you plan to have it at the university, or was it going to be completely separate?
Ooh, I think maybe it was bring a friend to the old house day, and then the real meeting, because it was very outside of the city, and folks who decided that they were going to try to turn us in could be round up outside and taken care of. And so the ones who decided that they were committed to the cause are being brought now to the university.
Gotcha. So it's like you get brought to a secondary location after having this meeting of marketing where there's multiple levels, it sounds like.
Yes.
I don't know. I call it like I see it. Bring a
Sounds
friend.
like a solid business plan.
Okay. I'm happy with that. I think that's pretty cool. But yes, over to you. Tell us what happens.
Ivy first.
Okay. Liz arrives separately. Elizabeth arrives by herself, seemingly by herself. She strolls onto the campus looking at the devastation and carnage in front of her with interest and a bit of sadness, and her hands are shaking, which is unusual for a soldier who's been trained in this, because I think this is the first time that she has actively put herself in a position on the opposite side. As her mech begins to form around her, it is a weapon that she pulls off her back that is long, that seems to be attached by magnets. As you know, like the in Tokyo Ghoul, like the kind of ghoulish weapons, that's what she's pulling. She is pulling a very large, gnarled looking weapon that then starts to dematerialize and work its way up and around her limbs. Her machine is green and golden and organic. It is something that lives itself, and there is like a symbiotic relationship going on between her and this mech as it builds up around her. This gold and the green outfit, kind of similar to that as she was wearing previously, overtaking her. Over her comms, she says, "Soldiers in place, please." And the rest of the soldiers that she has also committed now to this cause under her care respond back in affirmative as she readies herself.
I love that. Would you like to take a turn with some violence, or shall we move on to someone else while you wait for your opportunity?
She is waiting for her opportunity. She is not sure who is friend or foe yet.
Excellent. Ian, Jess, any thoughts here?
I'll step in. I'll step in and say what Dash looks like arriving. They have a little bit of a pep in their step. It's been a while since they've recruited someone to the revolution. I mean, this is kind of a big deal. They feel like they've finally proven themselves. It's been a year, and it's kind of been a year since they've brought in someone new, so this feels really, really good. His frame, it's nice. It's a nice little powder blue on the outside, but it's a complete patchwork on the inside. I mean, they don't have a lot of money that they're working with. They're doing the best they can. Truly, the only thing going for them is that they can push a button on their shoulder, and like a chameleon, they can shift that color. They can blend into their surroundings, because they're a lover, not a fighter, baby. They like making deliveries, and that's what they feel comfortable with. However, they do understand that they need to show up to shit like this. And boy, oh boy, when they arrive, does their face fucking drop. Dash has entered the building, but no one knows it.
So I like this because over comms, Min opens a direct line to Harris and says, "Oh, would you look at that? Bang a drum and the masses appear."
Well, looks like we're gonna have more fun than we anticipated. I'm not one for sharing, but
Actually,
I guess I could make an exception.
You two right now, we just had a donation for a flashback. And so I would love to see a flashback between y'all, Steve and Ian. Maybe like the first time that y'all went into battle together. You guys don't have to take that suggestion, but this...
Let's do it. Ian, our characters, and the first time in combat was against a uprising, not a planet like Bantresh, but something smaller and more manageable for the two of us. 2 mobile frames against insurrectionists, doable. In fact, more than doable. Mission parameters were, of course, to reduce casualties, and more just kind of like impose upon them the Solar Union's might, kind of cow them into place.
That was a fun briefing before we got there because it was just the two of us, because you were delivering the brief to Harris as opposed to it being an entire team. And there is a quick flash of the memory of the briefing, the both of us sitting across from each other at a steel table, single light, very intimidating because that's how the captain prefers it. And Harris leans back in his chair and he goes, "So am I leading or are you?"
Min, dressed in, how am I going to describe this? Slutty cop, raises one healed leg up, places upon your shoulder, and says, "I find to make a unit more cohesive, leadership should be a democracy. We should discuss who has power and who doesn't."
Steve,
It's
if I may,
interesting.
Yeah?
ACAB includes Min even if she's hot.
Oh, no, 100%. I don't know if you know this. I hate my character. My character is like
I
garbage.
hate my character.
Yeah, no, we're all good. We're all good. My character's terrible.
Harris still leaning back in the chair, Min's foot placed on his shoulder, which I'm pretty sure is a high-heeled spiky boot. He puts his arm up across their calf for a distraction and places his other hand on their hip, and in a sweeping motion puts them back in the chair, and now Harris is standing over them and he goes, "It's about balance. I understand."
You know what? I can call backup. You know, it turns out that our recon was wrong. Bad intelligence. I say we call backup and we wait for it to arrive. Could take hours.
It could, but then we would miss a lot of the fun.
I don't think we would. And Min rises up, palm to palm, breath upon hot breath. The steam in the room rises. You good? We stop here?
I'm good. If you have another layer that you want to put on this cake, I'm down for a slice.
Excellent. The camera zooms out because it's Adult Swim, PG-13, and it shows kind of like the it shows units arriving, and as they come, it beeps faster and faster. So it shows you like how close they are to coming to the combat, and then the scene ends once they come to the combat.
The combat,
Yeah. I feel like they would do that on Adult Swim. I feel like they could get away with that.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here's your flashback.
Go.
I'm proud of that one.
Damn, that was worth the money. I don't know who that was, but damn.
Tiltify, hit it up if you want more of that.
Please?
Donate for horniness. Okay, I think we are back into combat now. So Min, your captain,
I'd like.
yeah, has
Oh,
just
go
like told you like, hey, mission has changed, but like, you know, subtly. I think. What do you got?
I think Harris within the mech with the private channel that they have, Min just hears across on their comms, "How about a dance?" And you can see the hand of the mech extend out to Min's mech.
Absolutely. Min engages the protocol, and the nuclear core, the nuclear ball of debris and malice that is Min's mech, coalesces within your palm.
And with that, I'm gonna do the prop. I heave you bodily off the ground, lift you up to smash you down again. But in this particular case, it is a arm in arm pirouetting duet spin as Min's elemental radioactive mech just flies as if it's just doing one of these to knock anybody who's coming close to the two of them.
Excellent. So I'm going to prompt our professor here. Of course, you're protecting the civilians. And you knew, because you're an educated person as such, that Min pilots a nuclear mech. Basically formless, but heavily dangerous to organic creatures. So of course, I think your focus is going to be upon neutralizing the ions in the air. Leaving yourself, I think, to potential harm. Your reactor, I think, might be heating up, potentially dangerously so. How do you react?
So as my reactor's heating up, I think that the thing about my specific mech is it's an older one. It's this eggshelly kind of white. Has a bit of like, almost looks like toasted marshmallow in different areas. This tinge of like rust or browning. And the thing about it is that there's a miniature reactor that is often used to kind of summon the mech to itself, and there's the main reactor. And to avoid any overt overheating, the way this mech has assembled around me, I fall out of it with a small portion of it attached to me still, as the rest of it kind of comes apart in different motions around the area, separate but uniform, avoiding an overheat in this moment.
Love it. Back over to Ian. One more maneuver for this free-for-all.
Yeah, absolutely. While spinning Min and their mech around, again, still single-handing as they flow across in what is turning into a fiery circle that is stemming off of Min's internal core in their reactor, pretty much creating like a tornado effect. What's adding to it, especially with its speed, is that the side of Dune's mech has kicked into two overpowered rockets that jet from the side of his shoulder and just like as somebody would pop their shoulder out of place, and you can see these two large, bulging, almost cartoonish rockets pull out. And with the connection Min has with their mech, they can feel the grasp of Dune's hand on their wrist squeeze tighter, and an index finger tap 2 times in their palm as they go back to their flashback when they left that moment because the backups were coming. And he goes, I think it's about time to have just a little bit more fun, as a barrage of rockets head towards the professor.
I have a question.
Sure.
What the fuck?
I have no answers for you.
I love getting one
like-
dude.
Y'all can step in at any time.
Did you not hear me?
Do something.
Ooh, invisible. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
You are invisible. That makes sense. Professor, I think you're getting fucked.
Yeah.
Ivy
What
brought
if
backup. What are y'all just doing? Hanging out?
Rex, do something.
Okay. I mean, I'll go. Seeing as how you're about to attack the professor as this action happens, I am going to rush you. I am faster than you'd believe. Can you react in time and get away? How? Because I am going to launch myself full speed at you to attempt to knock you over to get those rockets trajectory wrong. Whether you hit a building, whether you hit Min, Elizabeth does not care. She simply is acting on the instinct of I have to stop this action.
Do you tackle Dune from behind or
The
forward
side.
charge?
The side.
The side?
Let you out from the side.
Because we're
As you're
spinning.
I'm going to try to, with my speed, use that momentum to wrap around and slam into you.
He takes that hit and you will slam him, but now the two of you are stuck as the rockets that have already shot, the side of his mech is closing in and it clamps onto something connected to yours. But he'll take that hit.
I think with this type of sentient being, I think it, as they smack into you, that hand of their mech has come up, and that is what it is clamped on. Is they are not only held, but they are being forced to stay there.
I love it. Drama. Ivy, can I ask you to do another move?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say there's
Um,
a separate comm that opens up for you, Ivy, and dude
Ooh.
goes, honestly, all you really had to do was ask.
Oh, hey, yo. I think that the only response is, sorry, I'm into somebody a little more my speed.
Sorry.
Damn.
Good. Yo, someone get some donations in here so we can have that flashback.
Hey, yo. Let's see. I think I want to adjust it slightly,
Of course.
since you're not at range. But I think I want the far across the landscape. I raise my rifle. I can put a shot into a reactor core, slice off your comms antenna, unhinge your knee, put out your eye. Do you avoid my shot, and how? And Steve, I'm gonna use my other hand that is not currently being occupied by Dune, and attempt to point blank range fire at Min's mech.
Excellent. So point blank range, I'm going to ask you for clarification
Yeah.
in terms of what you would have to aim for.
Sure.
So would you want to aim at the reactor core, slice off like some kind of comms antenna? Unhinged knee probably doesn't make any sense. Tell me more.
I want to go for that nuclear reactor core with the understanding that this could blow us all up, but the good of the many, or the good for the life of the few.
Oh.
She's been a soldier
Yeah.
her whole life. She has been trained to do this. She's
Jess,
been
I'm going to
trained
say a thing, but you say a thing first, then I'm going to say a thing.
Okay, I want to say that I have hightailed it to my home to get my hands on the crates of weapons
100%.
that have been taken from the landowners.
100%.
I'm en route back, but that's happening as this is happening.
You're currying.
I am
You're
currying.
currying.
You're gonna curry it?
spying.
Cool. Excellent. So, Ivy, over to you. I think my response to that is Min aims their reactor core to take the full brunt of it and let it go critical. Ring, ring. Hey, comms are open. Would you respond?
I think it would be just a jab. I think it's a jab at Min of, oh, I didn't know you were selfless.
Oh, sweet summer child. No. Let's watch this all burn down. How are your emergency evac processes doing? I know you often don't hold on to maintenance, but we at the Solar Union are immaculate at Plan Bs. And Min's gonna slam on a button on their virtual comm and eject from their mech. So I'm gonna leave my mech going nuclear. Thanks for that. Cool beans. Not the money I would want to spend to destroy university, but hey, when opportunity rears its head, there it is. I'm gonna highlight Jess here. You have a munitions crate. You are our Scrappy Doo mech. 2 actions for you. And also, don't feel like you're like the last thing here. We're gonna come to a conclusion here together and bring
I'm
ourselves
like-
to a close here.
If I I may, if everyone could really quickly tell me what kind of thing they think I might find in this crate.
EMPs.
EMPs.
Yeah. So I'm going to add to the narrative here. EMPs are really great from the landowner's perspective because when you EMP mechs, it's great. Like the mechs just like shut down. But you know what's really bad for? The pilots, especially if their cockpit is compromised. Because if a mech collapses without power, that cockpit can just collapse on the pilot. It's risky. But if you're a landowner and you're looking just to quell a rebellion, maybe it's the gambit you play. So I'll throw out EMPs with that complication.
Anybody else have an idea what I've got my hands on right now?
I am going to say you've got handheld grenades, military grade, something that the von Marshall family would actually create.
There is unmarked currency enough to buy an entire mech army. I'd say enough to buy 100, like fully fitted mechs.
And I think that there's sort of, aside from EMPs, another form of mech deterrents, which are this kind of fast-growing like foam cement that just kind of gunks up joints and locks mechs in place once gone off. They're small, typically a little like basketballs that on impact and just bubble up around mech joints.
I
thought for sure you were going to say mech for dummies, like books, just like piles of books.
Yeah, actually.
I think from far across the landscape, I see a shot happening at the mech of Min. I see Min ejecting, and I, in the split second that I have, take one of these gunky cement things, I stick an unmarked currency on it, and I just toss it straight at Min. Well, not at Min, at Min's mech.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to save the pilot here.
No.
So ready.
The intention behind this is seeing that it's about to explode, and I'm hoping that I can get it to just stick together and maybe have a little less of an impact.
Excellent. I'm going to hand the microphone back over to Adam. So this is your device. This mech's going nuclear. Foam, nuclear reactor.
So I've established that I can build my mech around myself, and I have a double reactor. I want to move my bodily reactor. From my understanding, even though yours is going nuclear, it's the size of a briefcase. It's not humongous, the reactor itself, right? So I want to fling my reactor. So I'm losing my mech to cover yours, and then I want to build my mech around it and have my mech take off into the sky to just remove the explosion from our area.
I love it. Okay. I think we're coming to the end of the free-for-all here. I think we're ready to resolve this tension here. So I'm going to say, obviously, Min's mech is going to detonate, right? We have the foam. We have the barrier around it made from another frame here. Let's take a look at the end for free-for-all. There are 4 options. I'm going to read them out loud. You're all going to pick which one is our resolution. We briefly fight, but it's obvious that none of us were able to seize the upper hand. We reach an unspoken agreement to meet again under less equal circumstances and go our separate ways. Hey, I don't think that happens, but that's just me. Number 2, we fight fiercely, but it threatens to spill over into civilian areas. Rather than put innocents in danger, we leave the fight unresolved. The fighting is intense, but soon, name of one or more allied characters dominate the field. Everyone else limps home, repairs, and recovery. Or 4, the fight's explosive. We do enormous amounts of damage to the landscape. And 2, name whichever is nearby. When the fight ends, name one or more allied characters are still standing, and everyone else is lucky to have survived it all. That's spicy. I'm gonna put it out here. I think the first two we just cut. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
We went
No.
we went way too hard.
Too hard, too fast.
Too hard, too fast.
You know, I'm just very curious on how Min would fare being in a mech-filled area without her mech.
Mhm.
I think that is a question to resolve after this scene. I say stalling because I'm smart and handsome.
You know, it sounds to me like Min might be limping home. She might not make it home if someone doesn't swoop in to protect her with their mech, if it's even big enough to house two people.
So if we do that, I think it implies that Harris's mech is an ally. Because only if it's just Min limping home, I don't see Harris limping home at this point in time. I could be wrong. But I don't know. I'm throwing out complications here, y'all. I'm making it I'm making it spicy.
If I may, to further complicate things, would Harris not put himself in harm's way for Min to protect her in her weak little body?
There wasn't enough time to make that decision because he's still got Liz's mech attached to him.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Yeah.
letting go.
I'm into that. Okay, so Min is off into next chapter. I need us to resolve this scene. Min's mech is exploding. It is going nuclear.
Yep.
It is a mech designed to be a nuclear creature, and it's going to go critical. We've done all these things to mitigate it.
I think it is the last one. I think the fighting is explosive. I think that the damage will be done. Yes, we can get it in the air because the professor has made sure of it.
Yeah.
But also, you are the rocketed the rest of the campus.
Also,
Yeah.
like maybe the atomization of the area is not going to happen, but there's still a giant force put there's force that goes off from a nuclear release. So sure, the area is not scorched, but everyone's gonna get destroyed.
Here's another thing to kind of just, I don't know, put in there too. Harris has not let go of Min's mech.
Yep.
Oh, so yeah, it's gonna be
It's in your
a tug
palm.
of war.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here. So it's shooting up. So the
Yeah, so
three
did,
of us are just going.
Yeah, did my mech build around you and just take all of you up?
Yeah, it's more so of hey, if you wanted to, all you had to do was ask. Hey, it's more so my speed. Pew!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think that's
Plus
correct.
one. I like it.
There
Jess.
are more ins on page 21. We fight to a bitter, bloody stalemate. At the end of the day, no one has prevailed, and we all have to retreat to lick our wounds.
Oh yeah, there is more text. Sorry, that's me. That's a me problem.
Pretty soon, we all realize that we're showing off more than we're fighting. By the end, we're cheering each other on. But that's obviously not it.
That's not
That's
happening.
not
no.
It's
And the
definitely
third,
happening.
I think, and final one, it's serious fighting, but rules of engagement hold. By the end, name one or more allied characters, hold the field, but everyone's given and taken their fair share of hits, and no one's crossed any lines.
My mech exploded, so that's not super fair. I'm gonna say.
No lines of a cross. What are you talking about?
So I'm gonna propose a potential solution. I'm gonna let you all do with this. I would love Min's mech to explode, but I'm gonna make it a little more complicated because we love complications here. Because of the interactions of the foam and your mech, which still has this reactor core there, I'm gonna propose we create a nano mini black hole, a nano black hole at the university, which will grow exponentially. But although it is very small right now, it means we have time. So we're going to ramp like an exponential curve, right? So basically, We have time until basically we don't have time. When it becomes 11 o'clock to midnight, it's going to quickly progress. And I think
shit.
the university is the core of this because of our actions.
I love this. This is very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Hole.
So we created a black hole.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we did drop like 4 reactors in one spot, so like
Yeah.
that's not great.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not recommended.
yeah.
It actually definitely violates our warranties.
Yeah, none of us are getting our money back.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to make a claim, file an insurance claim.
So with that, I think if we're all like thumbs up, I say a nano black hole is created. The university is in shambles. This area needs to be evacuated, and to be quite honest, we need to start thinking about a planetary evacuation. And with that, I think the scene ends.
Damn.
Here is how Firebrands ends. So I'm gonna scroll up to ending the game. Give me 1 second here.
The most on-brand thing for a mech fight is to destroy the world, so that's pretty solid.
So we're gonna go on the
Yeah.
table. The game says we can do it more than once, but we're gonna do it one time. And anyone can decide. Bring up any unresolved questions, and we'll try our best to propose something, and then choose what that question is answered with, and then we all have to just move through the answers. So, does anyone have any burning questions that needs to be asked right now?
Do you think that Liz and Dash go on a date if they survive?
My proposal. They keep scheduling dates, but always get interrupted. Something always comes up, and forevermore, they can just never actually have a formal like date. Like
That's
it's
very
too
rude
messy.
of you.
I know. My neck blew up. I'm sad.
I think Elizabeth
you-
would try very hard to plan that date. And it would be that thing of like scheduling is always an issue, you know, revolutions and all. But they try.
I think, could I ask a question? Do our actions here, like what we did, have like an absolute cascading effect onto like the future of not just the planet, but like revolutions in space and mech fighting in general?
You tell me.
Yeah, we made a black hole. No, I think that's also like, I don't know how often that's happened before, and now that's sort of a precedent of like, oh, we can do this with these, and I don't think that's great.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that just being like, oh yeah, it turns out we invented new technology and it can kill us all.
Yeah,
Oh,
whole
so
new
we're the
application.
Geneva Convention. We're the reason the Geneva Convention gets
Yeah.
written. Okay.
Valid.
Great.
Yeah, love that. Great. Love that. More
Check.
suffering, please.
Okay, I have a question from a donation. Thank you so much for donating to get us to our $500 goal. Ooh, ooh. We're going to combine a flashback really quickly with Let's See Some Touch. So, what 2 characters would like to do a very quick flashback sequence that has touch involved?
I think it's got to be Dash and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
It's got to be,
Okay.
right?
It's gotta be. All right.
Do you think it is us leaving that shitty little house where Elizabeth decided to join the revolution?
This is exactly
I
what I'm
think-
thinking.
I think
Oh, okay.
that's
I had a
great.
different idea. I
What's
feel like
your
it was
idea?
the moment. I feel like it was the moment before the meeting. Like you guys were having the conversation outside the house.
Ooh.
You got into the part of the house, but right before you get into the actual meeting, and that's where it happened.
Ooh.
Dealer's choice. Dealer's choice.
What do you think, Ivy?
Dealer's choice. I can do both. I have thoughts in mind for both.
Okay. Well, I will say then that it is right before, and Dash leads you up to the door and says, "All right, Liz. I told you once I opened this door, you're in it. There's no turning back.
Yeah, I know. I'm not really one to turn away from a thing once I've got my mind set on it. So I think I got it.
And how long did you have your mind set on me?
Ooh, how long have we known each other?
How long have we known each other?
I think
Ivy,
it's the
Jess.
thing of like we saw each other for a while just from a distance. And it was like that awkward first meeting of like you have to pretend like you've not seen this person before, but both of them know that we've seen each other before, and it was that type of meeting. So probably longer than either of us actually realizes.
Well, maybe, and you see them like stumble over their words just a little bit. Maybe, you know, maybe after this we can get to know each other a little bit better. Maybe we can, you know, you can watch my backside from a closer distance together as we travel together, actually.
I mean, I could do that. You could also, you know, hold my hand outside of just helping me up out of the brush, if you'd like.
They take their hand and it looks like they're going to grab yours, and then instead they take your hair and put it behind your ear and they say, "Don't embarrass me inside, okay? Let's go."
As Dash walks by Elizabeth to go inside and fall behind you, they do reach out and graze the tips of your fingers just to see if you'll let them hold them.
For just like one teeny tiny second, they'll turn around, they'll wink, and they'll walk over towards the very clear, here are the people who are in the movement. They look at you and they scan the room. And I think that might be the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all. Cool, I guess. Yeah. Great. Love Firebrands. Love this game. Well, I guess that brings us to time. We have no more time to play Firebrands.
What a way to end.
Well, my
What a way to
friends,
end.
thank you all so much for joining us this evening. This was such an amazing and fun game. We've raised $500 this month for Trans Lifeline. Thank you to the folks on screen for helping make that happen. Thank you to the folks that have been donating. Y'all are amazing and incredible rock stars. But before we go, I want you to figure out where you can find the amazing, incredible rock stars on the screen. So, my friends, let us tell the people who we are and where they can find us. Adam, let us start with you.
Oh, hi, it's me again. I'm Adam. I am a cast member and the creative director of the award-winning actual play podcast 5 Gems of Trenchcoat, where we rotate games and GMs, Game Masters. Each season, we're on our 4th season right now, and you can find us anywhere you find your wonderful podcasts. We're all over Blue Sky. You can find me at Adam5Gems on Blue Sky, Adam5Gems everywhere, and then 5 Gems of Trenchcoat or 5 Gems Official everywhere.
Throw it.
Oh, I
Throw
have
it.
to pass it. Steve.
Oh, great. I'm so upset we didn't see more of that scene. I'm just sad, y'all. Follow me for more sadness and more just like the Yuri we could have had. I feel like it could have been so toxic. I feel like it would have been so toxic. Just like, anyways, follow me on Blue Sky where I'm going to complain about this. Follow me on Blue Sky at DM Steve, on Blue Sky, where I'm going to be sad for the next like 24 hours. Don't follow me on Twitter. That's DEEM Steve phonetically, because don't do that. But also tune into Asians Represent, a podcast where we talk about Asian representation in tabletop RPGs and other social media and popular media. That's AZNS Represent at Blue Sky. I'm going to throw this one over to Ivy.
Hello, I'm Ivy. My pronouns are she, her. I'm gamer the girl all across the internet. But when I'm not on any of my personal stuff, you can find me over at the Crit Awards. We're not award-winning, we just give them. We're currently in our secondary round of voting, which closes on Sunday. So if you haven't done that, go do that, because if you're not one of the 5,000 people who have participated yet, you should be. Yeah, that's me. So I'm going to pass it over to Ian.
Oh, what's up, everybody? I'm Ian, or your boy Big on all social media. Yeah, I be doing stuff. So if you want to know what I'm doing, pick a social media, type in YABOIBIG, and you'll find me. And if you don't, let me know so we can monopolize that. Yeah, that's it. This is a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. And that leaves me, friends. My name is Jess. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. And again, I just want to express my gratitude for everyone who watched, for everyone who donated, to the fine folks on stream for donating their time, talents, and efforts to help make this possible. This was so much fun. I want to let everyone know that the No Ice in California charity bundle that I am putting together on Itch.io is going to be launching on July 4th. There are two incredible organizations that we're going to be supporting. The first one is Immigrant Defenders Law Center. It's an LA-based social justice law firm that defends immigrant communities against injustices in the immigration system as well as races. A Texas-based organization fighting to welcome and fight for all families seeking safety and freedom in the United States. That second organization, you might be like, Jess, why is a Texas-based organization in a No Ice in California charity bundle? Well, they are serving a lot of families who have been apprehended in Los Angeles and have been transferred to the Family Detention Center in Dilley, Texas, run by a private prison contractor, which is Core Civic. So they're doing a lot of amazing work. So this is going to be launching on July 4th. Really, it's the only thing that I'm celebrating this July 4th. We're hoping to raise a lot of money for these two incredible organizations. There's going to be like 500 plus different RPGs, video games, all sorts of different games, and game supplements on Itch.io. It's going to be a $10 donation minimum. Altogether, separately, it'd be worth like $1,900. So please support. I am putting in a link right now to both the Twitch and YouTube. It's not live right now, but if you bookmark it, it will be live on July 4th. With that being said, again, thank you all so much for joining. Next month, we'll be raising funds for Dot's RPG project and continuing on with some fun question-based games like this. We'll be playing For the Queen with Alex Roberts, who actually wrote For the Queen, so it's going to be an amazing time. Anyway, take care of yourselves, take care of your communities, wash your hands, don't eat paste. See you later, y'all.